they're nice, don't get me wrong. But I just want to make sure I didn't offend anyone or make anyone feel unwelcome or unsafe, because this channel is for everyone. Everybody is welcome here. One of my favorite ASM artists, which is Ray Moon, and she spells it R-E-A, Moon ASMR. Oh, she's just fabulous, guys. She always starts her videos, everyone is welcome. And I love that. It really spoke to me. It was one of the first things that made me start watching our channel. So if you haven't looked at her channel, please definitely give her a look. I just love anyone that says welcome. It tells you we're part of a community. We're in this together, you know. This isn't just you watch a video I've made and that's the end of it. We're part of a community. We're not in this alone. We're in it together. So I thought I would, while it's still Christmas, and it is until January 6th, in my faith it is anyways, and January 6th is the Feast of the Kings, the Epiphany, and in the church it's when the three kings came to visit baby Jesus, and that's when Christmas technically ends. For me, it's going to end tomorrow. We're going to take down our decorations tomorrow. But we're just going to do it slowly. And we cleaned out a bunch. You know, we have collected so many over the years. And I am going to be cleaning up this area. And we'll have to say goodbye to my Christmas backdrop for another year. But I'm so excited, you guys. I ordered a new background. It's a fleece blanket. It's blue, but it's got all positive affirmations written all over it. And I love that because this channel is about positivity, kindness, and definitely taking away any stigma of mental health. So I just couldn't believe my luck when I saw that background, and it should be arriving on Saturday. So I'm hoping Sunday you'll see a whole new background and a new decorations. I found these when we were cleaning up our Christmas decorations. They're for votive candles, but they've never been used. But it's got beautiful colors and little gemstones. I just love it. And with my battery operated candles, it's going to be great. I cannot wait. But yeah, you will see some of the Christmas things will be gone, okay? But that's for them. And I'm very excited too. I did get a lot of gift cards, so I ordered a new mic. I actually am going with the Blue Yeti mic and seeing if that helps, because I've had some people say that I need a new mic and some people say it's fine, so I might just go between the two. We'll see, okay? So yes, I'm very excited about that too. So, but since it is still technically Christmas, I thought we would do my treasury of Christmas carols and stories. Now, I love this book because well, first of all, it has the gold here, which just makes me feel like a Victorian book, you know, I love those. So let's get you guys ready to hear a story, okay? We're not going to do the breathing and things tonight because you may not be ready for bed. This is just to relax you. This is just a video, just a reading to you video, okay? But if you do think that you're going to go to sleep, the only thing I ask you, please, no lit candles, okay? That can be really dangerous. So let me find a nice story that we can read. I'm not going to read a Christmas carol. That one's too long. But there does seem to be a nice one here. Let's see. This one's called Sweet Home. And it's got it looks like a mouse family on it. So I'm going to read that one to you. And we'll see how it goes, okay? Alright. So get relaxed. Get comfy. Okay. Oh, it's about a mole. Mole reached down a lantern from a nail on the wall and lit it. and the rat, looking round him, saw that they were in a sort of forecourt. A garden seat stood to one side of the door, and on the other a roller for the mole, who was a tidy animal, and he could not stand having his ground kicked up by other animals into little runs that ended in earth heaps. On the wall hung wire baskets with ferns in them, alternating with brackets carrying plaster statues. Down on one side of the forecourt ran a skittle alley with the benches along it and little wooden tables. In the middle was a small round pond containing goldfish and surrounded by a cockle-shell border. Out of the center of the pond rose a fanciful sculpture, clothed in more cockle shells and topped with a large silvered glass ball that reflected everything all wrong, but still had a very pleasing effect. Mole's face beamed at the sight of all these objects that were so dear to him, and he hurried Rat through the door, lit a lamp, and took one glance around his old home. He saw the dust lying thick on everything, saw the cheerless, deserted look of a long-neglected house, and he collapsed again on a hall chair, his nose in his paws. "Oh, Ratty," he cried dismally, "why ever did I do it? Why did I bring you to this poor, cold little place when you might have been at Riverbank, roasting your toes before a blazing fire, with all your own nice things around you?" The rat paid no heed. He was running here and there, opening doors, lighting lamps and candles. "What a capital little house this is," he called out cheerily. "It's compact, it's well planned. We'll make a jolly night of it. The first thing we want is a good fire. Well, I'll see to it. So is this the parlor? Splendid. Now I'll fetch the wood and coals, and you go get a duster, Mole, and try to smarten things up a bit around here." This encouraged Mole, and he roused himself, and he dusted and polished with energy, and Rat soon had a cheerful blaze roaring up the chimney. He hailed the Mole to come and warm himself, but Mole had another fit of the blues. He dropped down on a couch in dark despair and buried his face in his duster. "Rat," he moaned, "how about your supper? You poor, cold, hungry, weary animal. I've nothing to give you, nothing, not even a crumb." "What a fellow you are for giving in," said Rat reproachfully. "Why, only just now I saw a sardine opener on the kitchen dresser, and everybody knows that means there are sardines about here somewhere. Pull yourself together, come with me, and we shall forage." They went hunting through every cupboard and turned out every drawer. The result was not very depressing after all, though of course it could have been better. But they found a tin of sardines, a box of Captain's biscuits that was nearly full, and a German sausage in silver paper. "There's a banquet for you," observed the Rat. "But no bread," groaned Mole. "And no butter, and no pâté de foie gras, no champagne," continued the Rat, grinning. "This is really the jolliest little place I have ever been to. No wonder you're so fond of your home. Mole, tell us all about it and how you came to make it what it is." While the Rat busied himself fetching plates and knives and forks, the Mole related, somewhat shyly at first, but with more freedom as he warmed to his subject, how this was planned and how that was thought out. Rat, who was desperately hungry but strove to conceal it, nodded seriously and said "wonderful" and "most remarkable" at intervals, when of course the chance for observation was given him. At last the Rat, who had gotten seriously to work with the sardine opener, sounds were heard from the forecourt, sounds like scuffling of small feet in the gravel and a confused murmur of tiny voices. "Now all in line, hold the lantern up a bit, Tommy. Clear your throats. No coughing after I say 1, 2, 3. Where's young Jane? Here, come on. We're all waiting." "What's up?" inquired Rat. "I think it must be the field mice," said Mole, with a touch of pride in his manner. "They go around caroling. They sing regularly at this time of year. and they would never pass me over. I used to give them hot drinks and supper too sometimes when I could afford it. It'll be like old times to hear them again." "Well, let's have a look at them," cried the rat, jumping up and running to the door. It was a very pretty sight that met their eyes when they flung the door open. In the forecourt, lit by the dim rays of a lantern, some 8 or 10 little field mice stood in a semicircle, red comforters around their throats, their forepaws thrust deep into their pockets, their feet jiggling for warmth. With bright, beady eyes, they glanced shyly at each other, sniggering a little, sniffling, and applying their coat sleeves a good deal. As the door opened, one of the elder ones that carried the lantern was just saying, "Now then, 1, 2, 3. And their shrill little voices rose upwards into the air, singing one of the old-time carols. It went like this: "Villagers all this frosty tide, let your doors swing open wide. Though wind may follow and snow beside, yet draw us in by your fires to bide. Joy shall be yours in the morning. Here we stand in the cold and the sleet, blowing fingers and stamping feet. Come from far away you to greet, you by the fire and we in the street, bidding you joy in the morning. For ere one half of the night was gone, suddenly a star has led us on, raining bliss and benison, bliss tomorrow and more anon, joy for every morning. Goodman Joseph toiled through the snow, saw the star over a stable low. Merry she might not further go, welcome thatch and litter below, joy was hers in the morning. And when they heard the angels tell, who were the first to cry Noel? Animals all as it befell, in the stable where they all did dwell, joy was theirs in the morning. Their voices ceased. The singers, bashful but smiling, exchanged sidelong glances, and silence succeeded, but only for a moment. Then, from up above and far away, was borne to their ears a faint musical hum, the sound of distant bells ringing, and a joyful clangorous peal. "Very well sung, boys and girls," cried Rat heartedly. "Now come along in, all of you, warm yourselves by the fire and have something hot." "Yes, yes," cried Mole eagerly. "Come along, little field mice. This is quite like old times. Now you just wait a minute while we—" "Oh, Ratty," he cried in despair, "whatever are we going to do? We've nothing to give them." "You leave that to me," said the masterful Rat. "Here, you with the lantern, I want to talk to you. Now tell me, are there any shops open at this late hour?" "Why, certainly, sir," replied the field mouse respectively. "At this time of year, our shops keep open to all sorts of hours." "Okay, then look here," said the Rat. "You go off at once, and you get me." Here much muttered conversation ensued, and Mole only heard bits and bit, such as "fresh, mind, not a pound of that will do." No, only the best." "Okay, if you can't get it there, try somewhere else." "Yes, of course." "Homemade, no tin stuff." "Yes, well, do the best you can." Finally, there was a clink of coin passing from paw to paw. The field mouse was provided with a basket, and off he hurried, he and his lantern both. The rest of the field mice, perched in a row on the settee, their small little legs swinging, gave themselves up to the enjoyment of the fire and toasted their chilblains till they all tingled, while the mole, failing to draw them into easy conversation, made each of them recite the names of their numerous brothers who were too young, as it appeared, to be allowed to go a-caroling. The rat, meanwhile, was busy examining the label on one of the bottles. "Get the things ready, Mole," he called out, "and while I draw this cork." It did not take long to prepare the brew, and soon every field mouse was sipping and coughing and choking, and wiping his eyes and laughing, and forgetting that they had ever been cold at all. "They act in plays too," said these field mice, said Mr. Mole to the Rat. "Make them all by themselves, they make them up, and very well they do. They gave us a capital performance last year, about a field mouse who was captured at sea and made a row in the galley, and when he escaped and got home again, his lady love had gone into a convent. Here, you were in it, I remember. Is it possible for you to recite a bit?" The field mouse that was addressed got up on his legs, giggled shyly, and looked around the room. And he remained absolutely tongue-tied. His comrades, though, cheered him on. Mole coaxed and encouraged him, but nothing could overcome his stage fright. When the latch clicked and the door opened, the field mouse with the lantern reappeared, staggering under the weight of his basket. There was no more talk of play acting until the contents of the basket had been tumbled out onto the table. In a very few minutes supper was ready, and Mole, as he took the head of the table in some sort of dream, saw his little friends' bright faces and beam as they fell onto the feast without delay, and then let himself loose, for he was famished as well, thinking about what a happy homecoming this had turned out to be after all. As they ate, they talked of old times, and the field mice gave him the local gossip. They answered any of the 100 questions he asked of them. Rat said little, or nothing at all, but he was taking care to make sure each guest had what they wanted and plenty of it, and that Mole had no trouble or anxiety about anything. They clattered off at last, very grateful and showering wishes of the season, with their jacket pockets stuffed for remembrances for their small brothers and sisters at home. When the door was closed on the last of them and the chink of the lantern had died away, Mole and Rat kicked the fire up, drew their chairs in, and discussed the events of this long day. At last Rat, with a tremendous yawn, said, "Mole, old chap, I'm ready to drop. Sleepy is simply not the word. That your own bunk over on the side? Very well, I'll take this chair. What a ripping little house this is. Everything is just so handy." He clambered onto the chair and rolled himself well up in the blankets and slumbered very quickly. The weary Mole was glad to turn in without delay, and soon had his head on his pillow with great joy and contentment. But before he closed his eyes, he let them wander round his old room, mellow in the glow of the firelight that played or rested on familiar and friendly things which had long been unconsciously a part of him, and now, smiling, they had received him back. He was now in just the frame of mind that the tactful Rat had quietly worked to bring about in him. He saw how clearly, plain and simple it all was, but clearly, too, how much it all meant to him. I think that's